If you're looking for some reviews on me, David Duford, or my agency, Duford Insurance Group, you have found the right video. I'm actually going to give you a really detailed analysis and an actual anonymous survey review done by actual agents in my agency. So stick around for that shortly. My name is David Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell final expense Medicare and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. So what you're about to view in this video is a semi-annual survey I conduct twice a year, completely anonymous, where I survey my current active agents on their overall assessment of what it's like to work in my agency. I ask a couple of questions on a scale of 1 to 5, how they would assess the experience in working with me, and then actually ask them, if they didn't give me a 5, to explain to me how I can get to a 5 if I'm not already a 5 in their mind, as well as to provide some specific open-ended comments on what I can do better as an agency owner. And what I like doing is, after I collect this information, is, like you're about to see, is do a long and detailed analysis of the vast majority of those points that were made and try to address those concerns that may have been expressed, what I could do better, and then really give me ideas on how to improve. I'm a big advocate of constructive criticism. It's hard to get that in a lot of instances where the person who's maybe wanting to give you constructive criticism, doesn't, because they don't want to offend you or upset you. That's why I made this survey you're about to watch completely anonymous. And all of these critiques are done in a way where it's safe for the agent to reflect on their thoughts and concerns. So if you're looking for more insight, maybe you're an agent thinking about joining my agency, and you want an honest reveal on what agents who actually work in my agency think about the experience, this is the perfect video. Again, it is lengthy, it is detailed, but it's because I owe you, my agents out there, an honest assessment on how I'm performing, and show my commitment to you to find out where my weaknesses are and how I can improve. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this review and it answers a lot of your questions about working in my agency. And if you like what you see and want to continue learning more about working and joining me, click the link above here and then below down here to learn more about what the next steps would be if you want to join my agency. Thanks for watching. Greetings and salutations. It's Dave Duford. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. It's December 11th, 2020, and we are on my semi-annual review of me, my agency, and a bit of a discussion into this new fangled idea that you guys hopefully submitted your unfettered opinion upon. So what we're going to do today, first of all, before we even start, I want to absolutely positively, and I mean this, thank every single one of you who submitted your thoughts on my survey. I take constructive criticism absolutely seriously. I would not be here if it wasn't for you and you putting your trust in me. And I have all of you to thank for my success in my life. So I feel like it's my duty to you to answer those concerns, those questions that you have, and certainly your advice on what you think that I could do better in my agency. I take this absolutely seriously. I look at this as a particular point of pleasure, even with the reviews that aren't so hot, because it gives me this very rare opportunity to look unbiasedly, I guess you could say, without my ego in the way, to see what I'm doing well based on your opinion. And certainly, I think just as important, what I can do better. So that's really where we're going to lead with the conversation today to start with, is kind of looking at an overall analysis of things. And then after that, again, I put this down for 2 hours. This may go a little less. And if you got to go, guys, it's okay. It's recorded. You don't have to hang on the whole time. But the other half of this, approximately, we're going to go into detail about this new training protocol, which I'm particularly interested in getting some more feedback on, because I don't think I did a good enough job explaining at least the initial idea. Now that I've gotten some feedback and thought about it, I think I can do a better job. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to pull up the survey. I'm going to share it with you on the screen. And for the most part, I'm going to go through each of the points that were mentioned. And I'm going to address, it's not that one. I'm going to address each of those points in as much detail as I can provide. And yeah, really just try to give as much context as possible. Not that I'm not saying this to like explain away, potential criticisms. I think there may be some communication issues too, as far as communicating some of the resources we have. This will make more sense as we go through it. But if you want to follow up, you are more than welcome to provide your opinion. Again, this is the other half of this in the sense of I'm sharing what the group of you said as a group. But I'm definitely interested if you are. If you don't, there's no pressure to provide anything, any critiques or anything like that. But if you'd like to, you're certainly welcome to. If you want to build on any criticisms or constructive thoughts that were provided. And again, just a reminder to everybody, all of these comments were anonymous. So as I read through them, I have no clue who left the comment. We didn't collect emails. This was all done candidly, which really is the only way to get the most honest criticism because, well, you know how it is when you like somebody, you want to tell them the truth, but you got a relationship with them, right? Well, now that there's no way to know, I can tell you what you really think. So anyways, let's go ahead and share on the screen. And again, feel free to unmute yourself. Chat in the chat, whatever you want to do is fine with me. We're recording? Okay, good. All right. Okay. So let me scroll in a little bit so you can see better. So we had 93 of you take the time to fill this out. Again, I really appreciate that. It's sometimes hard to get people to fill out surveys. So the fact that you guys took the time to do this, again, I'm really appreciative of. So the first question that I asked is just kind of an overall, how am I doing? What can I do better type of question. And the question posed on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the worst and 5 being the best, please rate your overall experience partnering with the Duford Insurance Group. So the way I envisioned this question was, what's it like been working with myself, any of my, like the Medicare program, anything involved with the Duford Insurance Group, and on a 1 to 5 basis. So the results came in, and again, I'm just going to ballpark this. About 4 out of 5 of you said that it was a 5 out of 5. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. And then around 1/8, about 1 out of 10 said it was a 4 out of 5. And then let's just say 1 out of 10 said it was a 3 out of 5. So I'm happy to see that. Just so you guys know, I strive to do the best that I can. It's hard to always be perfect for everybody. I certainly know that. And this is, again, not an excuse for not trying to do better. But I'm glad to see that a lot of you are very, very happy with what's going on, what you're receiving, how your relationship is with my agency and myself personally. And as we go through some of the constructive criticisms, I hope to do better for those that didn't score a 5 out of 5. So we look down here at this one. And that says, if you answered anything other than a 5, please explain why in as much detail as you'd like. If you did answer 5, just put in A. So I put this down here because I want to know why you didn't give me 5 out of 5. What is it that I didn't do, or what is it that I could do that could possibly move the needle up to a 5? So that's kind of the idea with this particular question. So again, I'm going to break this down in as much detail as I can as we go through them. All right. And there's another question that'll kind of build on this. All right. Your training, your YouTube videos are awesome. What is lacking is trying to speak with someone in your office. So one of the things, and I hate the brevity of some of these, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I don't expect a dissertation of a paper from you guys, of course, but I would it'd be nice to have context here. Do you have trouble speaking with me personally? Do you have trouble speaking with our administration. So that would be like Kara, some of you have run into, now Nancy. Is this more in the lines of, in what context is this getting contracted, et cetera? I'll kind of just hit a few things for you guys that may be thinking this way. Maybe you're not happy with the communication that I give you, or the people around me that give you. So the first thing I could recommend, if you absolutely need to speak with me, always feel free to call me, okay? You are always welcome to call me. If I don't pick up, it means I'm on the phone usually. Just text message me immediately afterwards. And I always get to those text messages, especially if they're urgent, as quickly as possible, usually by the day's end. Not perfect, but the vast majority of the time, I do get to all of them. If there is something that you need to specifically speak with me, and it's not urgent, but you need to get it done, you have two choices. You can shoot me an email. My email is kind of like my running to-do list. So I always know, like, I always check my email once, if not twice a day. And I usually get through absolutely every email, no problem, right? So I teach agents, I try to teach you guys, if you got a question and it's not urgent, shoot me an email. It's probably the best way. And I almost am perfect in getting back to every single email that's sent to me. It's very rare I even miss any. If you have to speak with me and it's not urgent, but you need to set up a time, maybe this is dealing with something with coaching, training, et cetera. If you go to the training website, and again, let me pull it up here. Make sure that you go to the contact page here. You see where it says contact right here at the top. If you click this, first of all of my contact information is here. Okay. And then second of all, the coaching link is also there as well. So you can click the coaching link and then you can set up a time to speak with me that way too as well. And so just click this, whoops. And then this will show up, and then you can schedule any times that are here. If you have to speak with me earlier, let's say it's Wednesday night, right? I don't speak typically on Fridays or Thursdays. I do. I just don't have anything in the schedule. Just shoot me an email or text and say, hey, Dave, can we speak sooner than Monday? I'll set you up a time. I'll work into the schedule, okay? So just please keep that in mind if that's the case. I have no problem at all doing that. Now, if you're concerned about the communication with contracting, my recommendation, again, on the contact page, please review the directions on any carriers that you pick up on how to check the contracting status here, because we've had some issues, but they're not a problem anymore. We're recruiting too many people in the sense of keeping up on the admin side, so we had to hire some help, a second person to submit contracting. So that's all caught up at this point. But if you use this piece of paper here, it will direct you exactly what you need to do to check contracting status. And just to be clear, contracting takes approximately 1 to 2 weeks. It's going to depend on the carrier, certainly the time of year. If you put a contract in the week of Christmas, it's going to be a bit slower, understandably. So keep that in mind as well. And when you submit a contract in, it's not always, how do I say, instantaneous. So you don't want to call the company the next day and say, hey, where's my contract? You want to follow the directions here. Give it a few days before you check on the status of it, because when you submit a contract, it goes to Kara or Nancy. It sits in their to-do list for a day or two. Then they submit it in, and it goes to the carrier. It sits on their to-do queue of stuff of contracting, which they're taking from every single agency on the face of the planet, or at least in America. And then they do all the contracting as they come in. So there's a bit of delay on each front. So just keep that in mind, please. Okay. So I bring that up because I think that might be the reason when somebody has a problem speaking in the office. And here's the thing, guys. I'm pretty much a one-man show. So if there's problems, there's questions, there's concerns, you are always welcome to get with me. Please do. Remember, I don't make money until you make a sale. All right. And if you're not making money, I'm not making money. And if that's a problem, well, it's a problem to me. It should be a problem to you. So I need to be involved. So please don't hesitate. I am not too busy to help you with problems that you have. Okay. All right. It's so hard to not give at least a 4 due to the hard work you put in, David, but a lot more could be done to make the agency even better, like delegation. Yeah. If you're out there, whoever said that, feel free to provide some context. It is kind of an interesting thing. My goal and I'm finding that this isn't necessarily ideal as you build a business. My goal was to build a very profitable business with no employees. I never wanted employees. Just the idea of hiring somebody and babysitting them, just, you know. And the thing in my business is I control all the training, right? You know, I do all the training. I do all the support work. Now we got contracting doing some of this stuff. But I want to be actively involved in that side of the business as far as the training, support, and helping you guys out, because I absolutely love it. And it's fun to do, and it's great. You know, delegation is good. I guess where I'm wondering is like, where could I delegate? You know, I'm open. Trust me, I'm open to where I can delegate as much as possible. And I am actually working on some things to delegate now, because when you get to a certain level in your business, you're blessed with absolutely no time. And I'm kind of at that point to a certain extent, where every 15, 20 minutes and what you do with that block of time absolutely matters, and you cannot waste it. And so you have to be more judicious with your time, I'm finding. So I'm open to ideas there, just anything I can delegate, but within reason. I'm not delegating the brain here. You know, what I think makes the difference is, you know, me being involved with the training. Although, I don't know, if somebody wants to step up in that and do a little training here and there, I don't know, might consider it. Okay, I'm new to final expense sales. Old habits are hard to break. Oh yeah, they sure are. El Jefe is totally awesome and there for you as a mentor. Thank you very much. Just another number, no personal praise or attention. Well, thank you for putting that down. Again, I really appreciate that. And I hate to hear that that's what you think. And I wish I knew what caused you to believe that. Again, I don't take any offense with your saying this. Maybe it's because of how I run my organization. And maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining it to you or to others. You know, like, my organization is really developed for the independent type of agent that does not need praise to succeed, or does not need constant to the level of micromanaging attention. Now, that's probably not what you mean, but I think what possibly tends to happen from this from time to time is I get it. I can see myself in that situation where you're at. You not hearing from me, or me not calling you, or me not calling you out when you do something well, right? And I apologize. It's something that I don't know exactly how to, again, I'm open to ideas. I don't exactly know how to make it to where I can do something, because I absolutely give the people who reach out to me and help and want my assistance and are in my face because they want to be and they want my help, I give them a ton of attention. You can ask people who do training with me, who reach out to me, set up regular calls to me, which all of you are welcome to do. Maybe I do things a bit unique that may be off-putting, and that being is, I'm here for you. I want to help you, but it's your what's the word? It's your responsibility to initiate that. And that may come off as me putting off. I don't mean it to be, but I tend to pay attention to the people that reach out and say they want it first and foremost, because of the volume of recruiting that I do now and the amount of agents that work with me. I foresaw, and I think this is the case now, that you only have so much time in the day, and you want to spend the time with those people who need the most help, and which would logically, in my mind, be the people who are reaching out for it, right? Again, I'm not saying I'm right. That's kind of my thought pattern here. Again, I'm open to critique here. Let me pull the chat up here. Russ says, did the person come from an MLM where you earn badges and levels? They also hold people up when they make a sale. Look at, yeah, no, look, that's not a bad thing, Russ. Look, that's not bad. I mean, I don't do that. It's funny. I've learned a lot in this business building of an agency. And what I've realized is a lot of what I do is a reflection of what my personal, well, hopefully you'd hope it would be my personal values. And the one thing like I never needed was personal praise. I didn't care what people thought. Frankly, I didn't want anybody to know. I think what I do and how I run my business is just my personal business and my family's. I am not, it's funny, I'm competitive in a sense, but I'm not like openly bragging about my numbers. And it's not a criticism. I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I'm very private about my business stuff. It was never anybody's business but my own. And you can see that if you think through that. That's kind of how I run things too. I don't have a personal production board. I don't, regularly call out the top producers. And it's not from a sense of I don't appreciate that. I do. It's more of really just a reflection of, I guess, maybe that idea. But where I'm going with this, it's funny. I think there is value. And that's what I've discovered. My way of doing things is not normal. My way of thinking is not normal. But that doesn't mean everybody's different. It means a lot of people are different. There's a lot of people that just, if I put out a board on production, and we talked about this the last time, some of you guys may remember, if I put a production board out every week, like that would encourage a lot of people. That would motivate a lot of people. So that's not wrong to think that way with this constructive criticism I got. The thing that's, I gotta grapple with this, like who I am and how I do things versus what does my people want? What do they think that's valuable? And I think maybe there's going to be some middle ground there, kind of as we talk a little bit further here. Let's keep going here. But good point, Russ. Yeah, I mean, it's like I did an interview yesterday with an agency manager with a company, 3-letter company, captive. And he said, and it's crazy what they do. They said that their owners would like bring in a tailor to tailor custom made suits. He would, all to the point, he described it as they forced the managers to buy luxury cars so that when the recruits would come in, they would see all this evidence of wealth or success or material supposed success, right? And that would in their minds, that would motivate people, and a lot of people, I don't want to say they fall for that, but it is motivating, So yeah, I mean, geez, if there was a way to do that, like the personal praise stuff, without falling into that, and you can, I'm just thinking out loud here, how to do it better. I'm definitely open-minded to that. Jeffrey says, I could see how if you didn't watch YouTube content for years, you may just not know how Dave cares because he's hands off in a good way. The YouTube is the stuff that let me know I can reach out to Dave. Will always help. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah. And that's kind of how I looked at it too, Jim, and again, I've changed my mind on this. I was basically lumping in one group of people with another, like all they do is praise people and motivate. That's what insurance MLMs do. I'm not going to be that. So I did everything the exact opposite when I started my agency. And so for me, it was all about the training, all about the development, all about the support, but not about the praise, not about the motivational, chest beating, right? But it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be on or off. It can be a blend of both. It's all about your intent and delivery, but I agree. For me, that was always my motivation is I didn't want to be a cheese ball like the rest of them and focus on the rah stuff, because at the end of the day, it's about personal development and you becoming a better person through this avenue of insurance sales, and certainly having a great income, a great lifestyle, but being a better person too. Personal development. So training for me is everything. Yeah, no, I don't mind admitting this now, but I always hated production boards. I hate production boards personally. It always irritated. I always felt inferior. Like I never understood how it motivated people. Now I do now, but as a producer, it always irritated the crap out of me. I always felt like it was like a form of I hate bragging. I don't want to know. Yeah, I mean, I do, but then at that point, it was nice to know, but it didn't have that kind of like fire under the ass type of effect, like it, but I don't know. I think I'm weird. That's what I've just determined, that most people get motivated by that stuff. But for me, what motivates me is seeing like normal people who are exceptionally good. And it triggers in my mind, like, wow, these people aren't that special. I could do this, So I think that's, for me, that was more motivating than just seeing production. Right. Right, Russ. Yeah, exactly. Take a look at your pocketbook or billfold and see if you need any encouragement. Yeah, that's how I look, right? At the end of the day. Yep. Thank you. Anytime I've reached out to Dave, whether by email, it always gets back. Thank you very much. Yeah. Direction, not praise. Well, I thank you guys. I hope you understand. And I understand where the just another thing's coming from. And I do understand. I'm not, again, saying that's wrong at all. I mean, there is an element of our culture that I am not like these MLMs, and it's hard to be absolutely personal with everybody. And again, because I do a lot of volume of recruiting, so I try to teach you guys, I want to be there for you, but I'm not going to beat your door down. You always are welcome to reach out to me. And that's kind of how it begins. That's how I would explain it. The main reason I'm here is because I didn't see luxury cars and stacks of cash. Definitely need praise. I just get it from other places. Entrepreneurial friends mostly. You see, here's the thing, guys. And again, we run a business. We don't sell insurance. We run an insurance sales business. And I'm going to tell you here, guys, if you run a business, there ain't nobody praising you. Okay. You are on your own for the most part. It is up to you to get up, go to work, and see the people every single day. It is a lonely venture where there is very few support mechanisms or praise mechanisms or, help your feelings of inferiority. It's like, it's up to you. And it's maybe why praise is a good thing. I get it, because it's a lonely thing. But I think it's also important to accept that too, is that this is a road that you'll travel alone. You'll have support from me, but you have to do the action. I'm the Sherpa. I'll show you up the mountain, but you got to climb it, right? So I think that's kind of hopefully explain some of that.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah. On that note, I have found, reading stories about entrepreneurs or famous businessmen or whatever is like the only way to get in the right headspace, because it is different than sales, where it's just hype all the time. You start listening to some of those stories of entrepreneurs and it's like, it's actually failure most of the time and, and occasionally a big win.
What is the most profound entrepreneurial book that you've read recently, Jeff?
Book. There's a podcast just called Entrepreneurial Stories, actually. Okay. They're about hour-long interviews. There's another one called Mixergy, but those are like to the point, but people will tell their story and, 90% of it is how hard they failed before they succeeded. And anytime something goes wrong, I just start listening to that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is normal.
I absolutely recommend every single person here read the Autobiography of Ben Franklin. That probably is the most meaningful book I've read in the past couple of years. Ben was, the first millionaire in America, obviously a Renaissance man of great fame and achievement. But he was like the 7th or 8th kid, and he ran away from home, worked his way up in life. I mean, it's a fantastic story of his. And that's what you find when you read a lot of autobiographies, Jeffrey, you probably see the same thing. You see a pattern, and the pattern is you take a lot of heat for a long time and you try and you struggle and you try and you struggle. You start to get a little traction, and then the hockey stick happens. It clicks. Everything happens. And everybody looks and is like, wow, you're overnight success. And they're like, yeah, right. It took me like 10 years, and but all of that struggle is meaningful. You don't just see the immediacy of it, So yeah. And that's a good point you brought up. I mean, that's maybe that's really what the difference is. That this is an entrepreneurial driven agency, not a sales agency. If you go to a Lincoln Heritage, you're not an entrepreneur, you're a sales agent on a 1099, and they're going to, the relationship's different, and it's going to be more rah. Whereas this is a business, right? So a little, maybe that's a good explanation. Jess says, appreciate what you do and reflect of your values. It may take time for people to observe and understand who you are and why you do things the way you do. Many people coming for help may not even try to understand or even be able to understand your base and refined builds. Yeah, that's true. Because you assume everybody's watched 50 of your YouTube videos and they know you, right? But that's not true. They could come through some other avenue or maybe not see enough to know who I am, and they just learn the stuff as they go along. That's a good point. If we all knew what you do, we wouldn't be seeking the mentorship. Yeah. FYI, I like to know there's no leaderboard because working to be our best self is the ultimate goal. Yep. Hey, Barry, what's up? Good morning. More important is what methods are they doing to hit the numbers? Can we replicate the success? Right. Exactly. Yeah. Barry knows exactly. I know what he's referencing. There are plenty of companies with boards of production, but the top producers are doing something entirely different. And it's not necessarily a fair representation of what you're doing, because maybe they've got these high intent search engine optimization leads and you're working purchase leads, and the outcome of those leads is going to be terribly different. I mean, not terribly, but you get the point. It's going to be markedly different, the interaction. I have looked at many other organizations. Thank you, Teresa, saying it's the best one. Hey, Dean, what's going on? That's the thing about annual performance reviews. Why would I want to brag about all my accomplishments once a year? Yeah. For the people who need praise, I'm an encourager. Yeah. Maybe your spouse, the shoe dog, Zig Ziglar. Yeah. When I interviewed with my past MLM, my potential upline said, we consider ourselves a personal development organization that happens to be in the insurance industry. Yikes. Yeah. Now, I'm all for personal development, but that kind of has a thing to it now, right? You know? So it's like, yeah. E-Myth, Why 80% of Business Fails, a great book. Thank you. Phil is captivating storyteller and completely dedicated to urban development. Nike. Okay, cool. Thank you. Great. Let's keep going here. Thank you for the interchange. I love that I can plug in at any time to options for my business, remaining independent without typical hype and over vigilance or requirements to be an agent with Dig. The variety of training modules is perfect. Thank you. At the time I joined, I needed more of guidance. I like that you started to do live trainings before COVID. Yeah, we cranked up the live training tremendously this year. This time last year, we were doing one training a week. Any of you guys remember? I just show up once a week and do something. Now we're going like 6 a week, and we're thinking about doing even more. So yeah, I like that you started a lot more calls-free agents and seemingly doing it by yourself. Just as an overall, though, I had to list the 3 as average because some things are above average and nothing is a 5. Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. Everything is top-notch, but need possibly live call days with you or other members, and Dig videos of you doing live calls for appointments, focused more on telesales, more community or partnership with local Dig members. I totally agree. Maybe we can meet up with them to plan days or out trips or how appointments. Dude, whoever wrote this, 100% agree. This damn COVID. I had these images of me monthly traveling to different parts of the country, doing get-togethers, seeing you guys face to face, but this stupid virus and the response to it just screwed it all up. Kissing babies. Right. Doing the nationwide tour. No, but seriously, to me, the thing I've realized is training and support, all this stuff is an absolute requirement. The one thing that's missing is the interpersonal, firsthand, one-on-one, or just you and me meeting basis that just, it really solidifies things. This is a business. Yeah. And I think we do kind of like, sort of like that, Jess. You're not a bad point. But I think kind of what this particular individual here is saying too is there is room for more specific training, which I'm going to address later to kind of, hopefully overcome some of this stuff, because I think we can still do better on the training front. And I would have traveled to my wife, my wife in April, she got, I don't talk about my problems that much. My wife got this weird vertigo, and it's like she was constantly buzzed, and which I'm like, what's wrong with that? She'd walk around and everything would constantly shift and sort. She blacked out a couple of times back in April and May. She started getting her hand like doing this weird, like muscular, not twitch, but just like knurling in. And she's had spinal tap. She has one spinal tap. She went to all these different like endocrinology appointments and stuff. And so anyways, we don't know what her problem is. And they said they had to replace her pacemaker too, because the leads that lead the electricity to her heart are starting to unravel. So you wouldn't know all these problems she has if you looked at her. So anyway, it's weird. Like, she's been through a host of different stuff, and she doesn't have MS or any sort of as far as we can tell, neurological problems. And anyways, I would have traveled all day long with all this stuff going on. It doesn't bother me, but my wife may be very sick, right? So I really put all that stuff on end. Jason Woods did a couple of group trainings. We had some down in Atlanta, and I skipped out on that because, I got to do what I got to do. So the personal stuff, that's a big missing thing. That's just, I hate, because I was ready to roll with that. Thank you, Jim. Hey, Shafir, what's going on? I absolutely love that your agency offer be with your agency a long time. Thank you. Will you consider more training on other products like Medicare for those? So that's where Luis Moreno comes in. He has an entire catalog on training. The thing is, you got to contract first to get it. I know enough to be dangerous. I can talk about it from a 10,000 foot 10,000 foot view. But as far as the like in person or over the phone scripting, product training, etc., you have to get contracted first to get it. That's how we've all set it up. Okay. Video training for Medicare. Is that what you're asking? Yes, that's all there, but you've got to get the training or you got to get the AHIP, you got to get health license, contract with the carriers. And again, why is that the case? Because it's a partnership with my marketing organization, but their requirements for you to get it is they want your commitment on the contracts. Okay. So that's kind of the thing. I'd be happy with you looking in and checking it out ahead of time, but that's just, again, it's a dual effort on our behalf. So get contracted with us, as we got all the training. Is just as good as the final expense side. Luis does a couple of calls a week, etc. So yeah, it's definitely there. Okay. I have not been selling, so I don't feel like I could give a 5. Everything I experienced has been great at this point. Training and the ability to reach out with a quick response has been superb. Okay. I said subpar. Thank you. I'm completely new. You were busy. Sometimes aren't available right away for a quick question. Yeah. Now I'll tell you this, guys. Again, imagine being my shoes. You could, hopefully you can see I'm very busy. I purposely answer questions from people who have clients they need closed first and foremost. If your question, and please don't take this personally, if your question is not immediately urgent, I will treat it as such. So I will get to it later. Okay. I handle now calls, text messages, emails on an urgency basis, right? And it is arbitrary. I decide if it's urgent or not. Okay. And if you want it to be if it's an urgent issue, please say, hey, I really need your help on this. I'll pay attention to that and react a lot faster than if you didn't. Okay. But hopefully you can understand why. There are some questions that need quick answers. You're in the home, you're on the phone, you need an answer now. There's others that can wait till the following day or something like that. Okay. And I would ask you guys too, if you are asking me non-urgent questions, I highly prefer you email them to me as opposed to text. Email is just a better way to deal with the non-urgent stuff for me. And again, you decide if it's non-urgent. If it's urgent, text me, okay? And say so. That's okay. I agree with Andrew that it would be nice to have a more local group. Yeah, it would be nice to have training specific to my state, or maybe just a list of resources. I'm in New York and just got licensed and now researching what other states to get licensed. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. You supply a lot of material on learning the business, how to deal with prospects and where to get leads. For that, a definite 10. But getting back to me with questions, not so much. I have 2 questions that I've contacted you last week and still have not received important answers, so I can do business with you. Dave, you want honest answers? No, I know who this is. I know who said this. Your email doesn't work. I swear I sent you 3 or 4 emails the last couple of weeks. This particular person, their email or his capability to read them is not the best, to say it nicely. But I assure you, I emailed you the first time and a second or third. So with that said, if I don't get back to you within a reasonable, like a day during the week, and you email me again. You're not going to piss me off if you email me again. Okay. It's completely okay. If it goes 2 days during the week and you haven't received a response to something you needed an answer to, you need to reach out to me. You're not going to make me mad. Okay. I serve you. All right. So don't forget that. I don't get much in-person one-on-one training. I know that I'm getting high commission levels and it's a trade-off. Yeah, that's what the one-on-one calls are for. I'm going to be in a little bit talking about the new training protocol. So we'll talk more about that too. That maybe will hopefully address that. And yeah, remember, if you look on the training website, that's what we have the 20-minute coaching calling for. So if you need specific training, just set up a time there. We'll talk. Okay. And we can nail some stuff out then. And then if we need more time, we can definitely schedule more. Okay. Easier said than done, but having immediate access to someone that can answer a quick question, et cetera, while on a call with a pros insured. Yeah, call then text me. The group me members with experience seem like a tight clique, only communicating with others already in the clique. I don't feel that way. And I would imagine those people who are on the call here, if that is your perception, I'm sure I can speak for them that is not the case, period. I think what you will find with the group me is that it's kind of like an undulation, right? You have agents in the field, they're out there working. I've watched it, and it's not a constant stream of interaction. You get a ton of interaction at some point, and then it'll go quiet for a while. A ton of interaction and go quiet. And people are busy, I think, and they're not necessarily catching this stuff because they're out there selling, right? And most people pop on there too because they've got questions or something, right? And sometimes your question will be pushed to the back just as the text stream goes through. And I don't think it's anything intentional or a favoritism thing or a click thing. Please don't think that, okay? And the thing is too, if you are in a position where you ask a question and it's urgent, text me, okay? If you're asking a question to group me, it should be after you've exhausted trying to get in contact with me. Again, I don't feel that's the way, and I'm sorry that you do. My experience has been everybody's been pretty welcoming. I've not ever felt anyone that hasn't been. I've yet to plug into David's process. My reason for a 3 has more to do with annoyance. That in less than 3 hours, I've received 4 emails. You're annoyed with all my emails? When you start getting too many emails from the same source, they start to lose relevance and meaning. One, maybe 2 emails a day is enough. Definitely. I'm sorry. I can only apologize. I know it's bad, but I keep doing it anyway. Here's part of the reason. Part of the reason is that you probably are on 2 different lists. So I have like a house list of agents and then everybody who's ever interacted on my website ever. Okay. And so I market to that huge list of people who've been on my website heavily. And then I send out daily reminders for stuff, sometimes multiple daily reminders for stuff on the agent list. And you're seeing 2 different lists and you're on both. And that's probably like pull my hair out. If you want to get off the list, that's the house list, shoot me an email. Those are the ones like, yesterday I said, what was it? The future of insurance agents, that I send that letter out. I obviously did the 24-hour flash sale. Like if you want to remove yourself from that list, because that's the one where I'm going to try to recruit and sell people stuff. Okay. And yeah, I do share some informational stuff. So it's not all just obviously a pitch. But if you want to get yourself off that list, it will considerably reduce the email volume, but still send you all the training stuff. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of you off of that list, or if you even want to get off of that list, because you may find some of the emails I sent on that list useful. But now that you kind of know that you're on 2 lists, hopefully that explains it better. And again, I have learned in this business, it's better to over communicate than under communicate. And the consequences of over communication is it fills up your, hopefully not your spam box with my stuff, your inbox. So again, I don't know any other way than to play it cautiously and just like, don't read my stuff if it's not relevant to you. It's not going to offend me.
Just a comment, Dave.
Yeah, sure.
The emails you send out are like a ringing telephone. Some people think if the phone rings, you have to answer it. You do not. It's a choice. I don't care if you send 400 emails a week. I don't have to read them all. So it's about a choice, not, I don't feel like you're whipping me to open all that stuff up. If I have an interest, I click it. If I don't, I don't. So I hope that helps somebody that's getting too many emails.
So you're saying I could stand to do some more emails? Is that what you're saying?
It wouldn't bother me at all because it's like the phone.
I'll assume you've got the same perspective every single person that's come.
The phone can ring all day. I'm not going to answer it. I don't care how long it rings. Anyway, that said, I don't care how many emails I get. I delete about 100 a day and never even look at them. They come from everywhere. So, duh.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your willingness to take my helpful and solicitous emails. But yes, that explains why, if you are tired of them, then get off the list that pitches you on recruiting or buying a product. You don't need to be recruited by me anymore, and you don't need to buy my stuff because you should have access to it anyway. So you can remove yourself off that list. Be all right. Yeah. I don't think I've gotten any reminders like that for meetings. Really? Okay. If you're not getting reminders on, hey, today's meeting, here's today's stuff, check your spam box. It's probably there. Or if you're not getting it in your inbox or spam box, shoot me an email. I'll put you on the list. Okay. All right. Faster phone response would help. I think I covered that. Urgency first is the priority list. I'm not doing my part to capitalize on the value of partnership. Thank you for your honesty. I'm just beginning, so not sure what's best. I haven't found the carriers you recommend are competitive. I think they are. I mean, Trinity, Family, Foresters, AIG, Great Western, GTL. I just would need more specificity there. Maybe we did something different with you. There may have been a reason why. Remember, the carriers I suggest, you have to satisfy three things ideally. One, is it easy to use? Two, is it a decently priced carrier? Not the most competitive, but decently priced. And three, is the underwriting sufficient? And you never are going to get everything with one carrier. That's why we have 5. And you're not always going to hit the mark with each carrier. So keep that perspective in mind. But if you're not happy with your carriers and you think you see, hey, old Standard Life and Casualty or Life Shield on there, you want to pick them up, go for it. I'm happy that you pick those up to kind of get some low price leaders. Okay. Yeah, we can get Lumico. Shoot me an email reminder, Jeffrey. They're competitive for some pricing. I did a review of this company called National Family Assurance. They run Lumico in their call center. Maybe it is Assurance, Barry. But yeah, Lumico is mostly a call center based carrier, but they do have face-to-face capability. Yeah. They're pretty competitive. Their underwriting, there's something about their underwriting that's not. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad carrier. Yeah, just shoot me a reminder. I'll send you what we got. Selling face-to-face in a pandemic is unethical. Don't do it then. Of course, I disagree. I think it's not, if it's unethical to sell face-to-face, then it's unethical to shop at a grocery store or to talk to anybody that's 60 and older face-to-face. A better thing to say, you can wear a mask, yes. You can hand sanitize. Perhaps a better thing to say is teaching agents to sell face-to-face in a pandemic is stupid. I would accept that as a criticism. I don't think it's unethical. I think it's, okay, I just won't go there. I just disagree. Let's say that much. Yeah, look at experienced pro Thomas here. 2020 face-to-face was my best year money-wise. Guess what, guys? I'm not bragging, but I broke last year's income in September. Okay. I am way up relative to last year's earnings. And it's not just because of telesales. It's because this pandemic has taught us all that dying happens to everybody suddenly and without mercy, and you should be prepared. So I think next year, just as a side note, it's just going to get better for both face-to-face and over the phone. Yeah. And that's just a kind of a statement unethical. I'm fine listening to why, but I don't think it's unethical. Yeah, we can't mitigate risk out of society, right, guys? There's no way to eliminate the risk that comes with living. There's no way to eliminate it. We can mitigate it. We can wear masks. We can stand at a distance. We can wear gloves. There's all sorts of things we can do. All right. We can buy insurance. Maybe Teresa. I don't know. People thinking that this is good gives us that are willing to get in it. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas, I need to come down to LA and do the the little camera on you and walk around and see what you do. That'd be kind of cool video. I like the videos. I understand people have questions. It'd be great if they just send it to you instead of everyone. I find it as a distraction. Okay, so I think what you're referencing here is the Zoom conversations like what we're having now. Like if you were reading this now, you're thinking, why are all these people talking? Let David do his training, right? Here's the thing, the purpose of the Zoom calls. The purpose of the Zoom calls is to, it's a couple of things here. One, I'm staring into a sea of black. Like most of you don't have your cameras on, right? I don't know if you're paying attention or not. And I don't want to sit up here and drone on like I could be a great politician to sit there and what is it called when you get up the grandstand? What's the other thing? When they've read from a phone book, to somebody will know what I'm talking about. A filibuster. Yeah, I could do that all day long. But I don't want to do that. Okay. I want to engage you. And so what I try to do especially like the sales presentation reviews, the carrier trainings, I try to talk or ask you guys questions because I want you to think. I just don't want you to sit here and listen to me talk. You can do that and watch YouTube all day, right? I don't engage there because it's a recording of a video. But on the Zoom trainings, I want you to be thinking as much as you are listening. And I think by asking you questions and engaging into you and having you ask me questions, it's going to keep you more informed, more engaged to get better results. And so, again, I think good teaching is not lecturing alone. I think it's a combination of lecturing as well as engagement, and to get you guys thinking critically about this stuff, to arrive at your own conclusions about as far as what I'm teaching, but more importantly, how it applies to how you are taking this stuff and putting it into action. Because we all are running our own deals, our own programs, and seeing our own things. And now we get to sit here and think, how does this apply to me? How is this something that's important? What can I take away from this and do better? Right? And I think by that engagement factor, yes, I can understand there may be some slightly tangential things that are brought up that I go down the course of, but I think it matters a lot. Like, for example, I do jujitsu, as you guys know. I have an incredible instructor. His name is Mickey. Mickey is really good. He comes in with a lesson plan. Like what have we learned Thursday? I've already forgot. Let's say, so maybe we're learning, I don't know, how to escape the mount when somebody's on top of you, choking or punching your face in, right? So he'll teach the basics. But as he's teaching the basics, he's looking around, watching what people are doing and noting the mistakes that are most common. He's also noting the questions that are asked. And if people are asking the same questions, what does that mean? That means most people have the question. It's a relevant question to the people asking it, and it makes the lesson more impactful. And it also brings up a good point that other people probably will ask too, because there's tends to be kind of a, similarity of questions, concerns, etc. So he custom tailors the training to what feedback he gets, right? So I think that in this process of doing this, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to custom tailor this process to what you guys are seeing as the questions maybe that I'm not necessarily addressing as clear as much. So the engagement thing is a thing that is important, and it's not going away. If you don't like that, I would just recommend watching the modules on my training website under the face-to-face training section, or just listening to the sales calls that are up there, so on and so forth. That's probably a better learning for you if you're kind of thinking this is a distraction. If you're distracted by the cameras on and people on, you can minimize the number of grids that you see, or you can just minimize. There's a way, if you kind of fool around with it, there's a way just to see the speaker and not just the people who aren't speaking, if that makes sense. Okay, let me scroll back here and hit on some of these. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We're all in the toilet. Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Please, God, don't turn your camera on and keep it muted. That's another downfall of other agencies. They make you show your face on Zoom. Yeah, I like seeing you, but I don't care if you don't want to show yourself. It's not a big deal to me. How is selling face-to-face unethical? Some clients will not buy FE over the phone. That's right. So is it unethical? Well, I don't know if it's unethical. It's just not smart for business, right? Possibly in this example, right? They want someone to come to their home because they have a need, but also fear giving their information on the phone. I've had several people tell me they want someone to come in front of them. Why should we choose the best way for someone? Yeah, choose your way and practice the social distancing stuff that is taught. Here's the thing, guys. Our clients don't care. I'm telling you, the face-to-face prospects, you will be shocked. You will be absolutely shocked at how many people who should care don't. It's incredible. So, and everybody out there who, now, probably a difference metro versus rural. I think there is a difference there. You might get a little more resistance in a city or a suburban area, but not so much in smaller town America. That's been my feedback I've heard.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hey, man. Me again. No, but yeah, I've been in the city a little more lately. And the one thing I noticed back in November is the people that are really freaked out, that really want a policy. I mean, if you just tell them you're the field underwriter and what that means, like, you got to actually see them.
Yeah.
Even if they are scared, if they really want insurance, you're going to get in and be as safe as you can. And if they don't, then you didn't waste your time in there.
Correct. And this is the thing that took me the longest to accept. You really can't take what people say at face value. They say they don't want to see you, but if because of COVID, but if COVID wasn't here, they wouldn't want to see you because of Christmas presents for grandkids, or Valentine's Day, or St. Patrick's Day is coming up, or, the Ides of March, or, fill in the blank on some BS statement, right? So it's a testament that you've got to overcome those objections. And the thing is, this is a very convincing sounding objection that you have to be very careful to fall for, because COVID and the swarm of concern around it has driven people to be concerned about, some people to be concerned about dying. Even people who don't fully believe it, at least they're now thinking about it, right? So if they want life insurance and they're mildly concerned about this, it's a good reason why to do this anyway, right? So yeah, don't fall for this stuff. It's just get good at rebuttaling objections, understand the psychology of the objections you hear, and it really, really fosters around you can't believe what people say. Sorry, it's just you can't. I've sold insurance for Fortune 100 companies as a W-2. They do not do this level of training and engagement. Thank you, Phil. When you're getting paid hourly, they want to limit the time you are not getting paid and not selling. I like the teleconference. It's the best way to learn. Thank you. That's what convinced me to go face-to-face. There's so many old-fashioned and confused old folks who will die without coverage otherwise. You can just turn your screen off altogether. Yep. Yep, that's right. The wit. More than that, actually. It's like 99.7. How do you overcome that they don't want to see you? Because of COVID, you say something like, hey, that's okay. I've got a mask. I've got hand sanitizer. All I need is 5 minutes to show you this information. And what you do with this is totally up to you, Mrs. Jones. So would 10 o'clock work, or does 2 sound better? So it's the same objection rebuttal script. You just you have to make it sound like it's okay. I've got a mask. I got hand sanitizer. We'll sit at a distance. It just takes 10 minutes. Because what you're really selling against is not that I don't want to see you because of whatever reason. It's resistance to seeing a person that you're selling against. I might have to make a decision. I might have to spend money. I might spend time with a stranger. That's what you're selling against. I installed satellite internet all over rural Oklahoma before final expense. Okay, cool, Stephen. I had 2 requests to wear a mask all the way up to last week. Wow. No requests on the few jobs I had in the city of Tulsa. Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget about having money for Pi Day. Yeah, right, exactly. Okay. Learn to know your agents well, like your own family, and not just social media. Yeah. I apologize. That's a valid criticism. I'm open-minded to figuring out how to do that better. And I sure as hell wish that, and it's a convenient excuse. Hopefully you guys now know a little more why personally. This year was supposed to be a lot of things, but I really wanted to step it up on a firsthand personal basis and meet more of you in person, establish more personal firsthand relationships. And I wish it would have happened that way, because I think a lot of that would have been addressed. And it's definitely the missing element we talked about a little bit last year. And we had the group meeting. Some of you guys were there in February before COVID hit. That was a great success. I remember ending that thinking, why the hell did I not do this years ago? I thought I just kicked myself in the pants, because it was just stupid to have a nice get together, to hang out, learn, establish relationships. It's a total bummer. And it was a learning experience for me. And I wanted to triple down on that this year, but it was just not in the cards this time. Yeah, that's why, basically, Jeff. All right. So what would you like to see added to the DIG program altogether to better your experience? This business is all about leads. If you can update that area a little more often and add some additional resources. So keep in mind that I do keep it updated. And I purposely keep it simplified. What I don't want to do is give you a laundry list of a bunch of vendors that I have never worked or I feel are bad options. What you hire me to do is tell you what works, right? You don't want me to just drop a bunch of options for you that are untested or unfounded. I think we'd all agree to that. So there is purposely a limitation of options, because I think actually more options leads to more confusion. The fact that we only have 2 direct mail vendor options and 2 to 3 Facebook lead options is purposeful, because we know they work for agents that put together what we teach and put it into action. So I'm open always to adding more, but I don't hear from my people other options are good. And I don't want you playing guinea pig to do new lead vendors. Okay. I take my ability to reference you to vendors to buy leads absolutely seriously, because the second biggest reason why people fail this business is because they run out of money. All right. You only have so much. So we have to put your resources to the best option that we have. Right. So hopefully that explains that better. David, what I like about you is that you're transparent, honest, authentic, and skilled. Thank you. Not like 99% of the slick, dishonest groups that lie or hide by omission regarding their lead programs, training, commission contracts. I think it would help if you sent out more details regarding the lead programs one at a time. Yeah, the type of leads, the cost, possible expectations of results and sales and commission, learning curve, turnaround time frame from start to writing the first app. Yeah, the biggest reason is they picked the wrong agency. That's what I surveyed 104 agents, and 1/3 blamed the agency they joined as the culprit to their failure. One thing you got to take for with a grain of salt is the perceptions of why people have failed. You know, how much blame do you blame the agency or the leads, and then blame yourself, right? There's that element too that very few people, well, I don't know how many, but a lot of people aren't going to be honest, you know, to blame and be responsible for their shortcomings. But there is some value out of it. You know, what they were told about their agency wasn't actually what it was supposed to be. And maybe they were promised one thing and something totally changed. So I think there's value to that. But I think it's also important to remember too that, you know, you are 100% responsible for the outcomes in your life of what happens. And if it's not working, you need to change. And so it's you know what I'm trying to say? There's a line you walk there. Okay. All right. You may already have these if you do ignore the role-playing videos. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Good point. So the lead programs, I think, does anybody have any expansions on that? I mean, what I'm hearing here maybe would be a good idea to like put up a video. Like I've got a whole lead section on the website. If you go here and you go to the lead section, every one of my options that you guys have is listed here. Okay. Just on one page, scroll down. I could put together a video to better explain it. Maybe that would help. But I do have something along those lines already. So let me put that down. Lead video overview. That's something I think that would be helpful. Again, when you put together training, you think, okay, at first it's like, okay, here it is. And then you get feedback and it's like, well, why didn't they get that? And then it's like, well, if you start thinking about it, maybe I didn't communicate it clearly enough. Maybe there just wasn't completely clear. So it's been interesting. Like, again, over communication and over clarifying is critical, especially with stuff like this. So I'll put together something like that. Do you guys think I need a live training on leads? Does anybody feel like that would like?
Yes.
So what does that mean to you when I say live? Like, what would you like to see for a live training?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, the thing for me has been, well, I was just thinking about this issue with this business. It's kind of cookie cutter in a way. Like,
yeah,
you buy direct mail leads, you know, you do the stuff and you make money, and the hard part is the psychological end. Or that's kind of what I thought. But in the second quarter I've been doing this, I've just had so many issues with trying to get my lead flow consistent, making sure they're close enough together to actually get enough sits. So I don't know, just some kind of dialogue where you can talk about how to solve those problems, or what's normal or what's not. I don't know if you need to have it every week, but I mean, I'd say for me, the last 3 months, that's been the biggest issue.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Looking
It does.
at your face, trying to figure.
Yeah, and this
Okay.
and this doesn't go away. I mean, look, you know, running a business is always messy. There's no business with no problems. Every business in America, and I know you're not suggesting this, but it's good to remind ourselves, like, we're managing chaos, right? And managing our lead flow is our critical, most important concern after being, you know, consistently successful in front of the prospects. And it's always a concern you're going to have. The question is, and so you've got kind of like an intermediate / advanced kind of topic, like, how do I manage this, you know, chaos better? Does anybody kind of feel the same way? Or if you do, please feel free to speak up. Or do you want to see, do you guys see any value in a general, which you could take this to, Jeffrey, and ask me, like a general, like a 30-minute lead overview video. Here's how the leads work. Here's what your options are. What questions do you have? Do you think that would expand understanding more than what is currently available?
Absolutely. I'd love to start with that.
Okay, cool. So I'll do kind of I'll start. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to start the following next month in January, rolling out more training. So it looks like everybody's on. There's nothing lost to having a lead training video. Okay. So maybe I didn't even think, correct me if I'm wrong, like a 30-minute video, or a 30-minute meeting, leads 101. What do we got? How do they work? What can you expect? What questions you got? Because like Jeffrey said, you know, you run into issues. And if you don't solve those issues, and I think you and I talked, maybe switching to a fixed price lead, if we had had that opportunity, would have saved you a lot of, you know, pain. So yeah, no, I can absolutely see this being good for everybody. Okay. So lead weekly video. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for the person who put that in there. It's a good idea. Now, there's some expansion on this part. The cost, possible expectations of results in sales and commissions, learning curve, turnaround time frame from writing the first app. Some of that is covered in the onboarding session. Okay. And we can kind of cover that too in the lead section too, because it's kind of sort of related too. So I think if anybody thinks I need something more than just that, just let me know, but I think we can accomplish that too. Yeah, discounts. I do have some, Jordan. Actually, lead concepts, I need to put down the discounts. So you should be able to get some discounts for lead concepts. You should be able to get need a lead. I don't know. I don't know if Brady will do that. Happy Agent Leads has a $35 discount. Let's see what else. I can ask Andy. That's the Game Time Leads guy. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? Let's see here. Like, I don't know who to deal with when I can't get either DM vendor on the phone. Okay. Oh, here's also what I'll do here. Lead concepts. I'm going to put down Chris Weir's phone number and email. He's the president of Lead Concepts. Very good lead vendor, very good provider, very good service orientation. He insists that he deals with all of you directly. Okay. And you're not going to get any better service than from the man with the plan, right? The guy who runs it. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. All right. Now, let's put down Chris Weir phone. I'm writing all this down, guys. So I'm taking notes. Let me get that question back up here. Yeah, Happy Agent Leads, very good people. I like them. Barry says, leads, this is where your successful agents can share experiences. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's a good point. Okay. Any more on that? Feel free to add. You might set up a separate section on your site devoted to agent onboarding with step-by-step instructions. Right here on the home page, this is your onboarding section. Okay. Just in case you didn't know, this video you watch, it's an hour long, or you can just attend the onboarding session I do Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then this checklist here, which does need some updating, walks you through the onboarding process. Okay. So check that out. If anybody has any suggestions on improving that, let me know. But hopefully that accommodates that onboarding concern, because that was something that was lacking the last time we did this, maybe a year ago, and hopefully that kind of helps. But if I'm missing something there still, let me know, okay? With so much information you have, it is overwhelming to find out how to stay connected with you. Do you have weekly meetings? Yes. So just remember, on the training site, you have the daily training schedule, and you've got all of the meetings that are scheduled there, all right? So you can see the link. It'll take you to each one. You should also be on my newsletter list. In fact, if you're not on my newsletter list, kind of like what Jeffrey said, I'm going to put this under the contact information to add newsletter sign up for agents. So you should be getting, and you may have just put that in as a new agent, not got anything yet. So that might already not be an issue anymore. But you will definitely receive lots and lots of emails from me, I assure you. If you're not, check your spam box and whitelist me so that you can be inundated with them. All right. Dial days, live examples of calls might be fun. Science. Yep, I'll get to that later. A lot more video, audio demos added to help better understand the pitch and the sales process. Okay. All right. That's a good point, and I'm going to bring something up to you guys. I purposely took this out of the I'm on my training website. I purposely took this out of the main website here. Presentation. I have like 50. Is that it? No, that's not it. This is it. I have like 50 presentations I've done personally. All right. If you ever been on a face-to-face call with me, this is like my repository. It's all face-to-face. Okay. You can see there's a ton of them. All right. And they're all actively. Why did I take it out? Because I didn't want. I want you to listen to live examples, but I think it's more important to spend your time reading and rehearsing the script. So I took this out, but I don't mind adding this back into this section up here. A lot of people really like listening to examples of what a real presentation sounds like. In this case, face-to-face. I don't see why you guys would think it'd be a problem to add it back. If you thought there would be, let me know. But I'll do that. And also by the beginning of the year, I'm going to go back and add back some of the telesales calls that I've reviewed and I'll get permission from you guys that did them for me. And remove the personal information. I'll mute it. I'll eliminate it from your client so that that's not made known. Does that make sense? So a lot of people like hearing what it sounds like. And yes, it's nice to join Tuesdays, do a telesales call analysis, listen into it. But those are constantly interrupted with me, lecturing and droning on. So if you just want to listen one without it, I think I'll put that together too. Does that sound all right to y'all? Presentations, examples, face-to-face and phone. Okay.
I have an idea. I don't know if anybody else likes this idea, but it would be cool because you have a section that teaches you how to create your own WordPress form to maybe get your own leads or something like that. I know you have something like that.
Well, I don't do that because I think it's avoidance behavior. When I say avoidance behavior, we have a predefined strategy in teaching you how to find prospects, and that's just buying leads. You do not, absolutely do not need to use a website to generate leads in this business. Some do. I do in my call center, but it's not the same exact strategy that we teach you. So I would rather, again, so that whole idea of, okay, now I'm going to sit down, set up a WordPress site, set up a website, develop a landing page, etc. All of that is going to deviate your attention from what matters, right? And your focus is of limited amounts. So you have to focus on what we care about most, and that is buying leads and closing them, or learning the sales process, buying the leads, then executing on the strategy as it said. Does that make sense? So I'm not trying to beat you up on this. It's not a bad idea. It's just not an immediate idea that's going to result in sales.
So
right?
There's like the top 10 things we need to do to get up and running and focus on those type of things.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing nowadays. It's funny. There's a great book behind me. Another one to get is called, let me find it here. Growing Rich. That's what it's called. Growing Rich. It's by a guy who created American Continental, which is now owned by Aetna. They're out of Nashville. Very great kind of rags to riches story. And that doesn't even do it justice. It's excellent. And when he started the insurance business, he just answered an ad in a newspaper to sell ancillary health products door to door. He didn't have FFL, Dave Duford, Symmetry, AIL, Lincoln Heritage yelling at you how awesome their stuff is and how you should absolutely buy, join, right? There's too much options these days. It's actually very bad to have too many options. What we need is to simplify our lives with little options. And so, I don't know where it's going with that, but you get the point. You don't want too many things. You want to do this, this, and this, and have a preset established path to getting from A to B, which A is you being new and B is you selling insurance, right? And that means you will exclude other ideas that sound lucrative, right? You can be anything you want to, but you can't be everything you want to, right? You have to make decisions, and there is an opportunity cost, right? There is a cost to picking something. You just have to like follow through. That's the hardest thing to do. And that's why a lot of people never get anywhere, because they can't stomach that they're not involved in something else. And something else always is a lot more appealing than you neck deep in a business model and you're not doing as well as you thought. But that's just how you grow. That's how you get better in anything. And you always look over where the grass is greener and think it's better, right? So, okay. Some other good points here. The live audio presentations were huge. Honestly, I think hearing examples helped me more than practicing. Okay, great. Helped a ton with memorization and understanding how to say things tonality-wise. Yeah, I got you what you're saying. Okay, great. Thank you, Jordan. Ever consider doing your own DM program and using the data to help find the sweetest markets? God, no. The last thing I want to do is be hated by you people. And the best way to be hated is to sell you leads. I want you to hate someone else other than me. No, and it's a very particular, nuanced program that absolutely is just it's not in my skill set. It's not in my wheelhouse to be like that, if that makes sense. There are pros in the business that do a good enough job. Yeah, Gregory, you can always start a call, and you'll never get pushback from this. It's so normal. Hey, this is David Duford calling about the information on Facebook you requested. Your favorite color is blue and favorite hobby is fishing. You requested information on final expenses. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, my job is to deliver this information, tell you more how it works, just let you know all of your calls are recorded and monitored for quality assurance. So how's your day going? Just throw that in there and you're good to go. Okay. Nobody's going to say, what, you're recording it? We're so used to people saying that to us when they call. We don't even think twice, right? Barry says, also for new agents, listening to the process of getting the insured approved by each carrier is good learning. This is my biggest initial fear. I sold the deal and screwed up the approval. Yeah. Just tell them it's being recorded for quality control. Yep, exactly, Jordan. Keep it simple until you got time and money to experiment. Yeah. Thomas's wisdom is absolutely imperative here. Actually saying this call is being recorded adds trust. Yeah, it actually does. Barry's 100% right. Like the fact that you say that, it sounds legitimate. You're not going to ever get pushback. Right. Thank you. Zane. All right. Oh, man. It's 40 minutes left. I hope we can get through all this. I think we're just at the top of this here. Okay. A lot more video, audio demos help better understand the pitch and the process. Yeah, I think that's related, right? Could you find someone to maybe help you fast track new agents? Yeah, we'll talk about that more. I think there's definitely room there to make sure they're smoothly transitioned for being producers as fast as possible, not possibly quit before ever writing first business. Yep, that'll more to come on that. And as in later in this recording, there seems that needed updates on the online documents. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to audit everything that you guys are seeing on the training website, the checklist, et cetera. Most of it's accurate. Some of it's not. You're 100% right. So you'll see some updates there. CRM discount, DM or Facebook lead partnership, perks for being a dig agent. Yep. I'll see about the discounts. Discounts on CRMs. Yep. Telesales, I believe you need to go that route instead of face-to-face because I believe the future of this industry. I think both will concurrently do well for a long time. There are just some people that won't buy over the phone. And but that list is reducing. Right? So I kind of see it like we're in a position where you can be successful more now with telesales than you had even a year ago, but face-to-face hasn't reduced. It did temporarily, I think, at the beginning of this COVID, response reaction, understandably, with little information, people assume the worst. But it's normalized now, and if not better than it ever has been. So my strategy is to do both. I think there's quite an opportunity for everything. This is probably the best time since 9/11 to sell insurance. You should be successful. You should be doing better than you have if you're around the last year to 2 years. And this isn't going away. I don't think this response and this reaction is going to go away. It is a new norm, unfortunately. And I think it's going to be years if we even ever see it change. But that's unfortunately, but fortunately for us, good for business. Okay. Make a mastermind group. Yeah, I mean, I'm listening. I'm willing to hear that out, kind of flesh that out. What does that mean? What would you like to see that's different from the training? That kind of thing. More personal attention. Thank you for that. Hopefully I addressed that. There's a lot more information that you make available in a variety of mediums and formats. This has occurred because you've grown and added as needed. You need a more effective and cohesive delivery tool that minimizes the number of software applications used and elevates the training experience and delivery, thereby giving you a clear line of sight to all the key analytics. In other words, simplify this, like centralize the decentralized. That's kind of hard in this business. I mean, I'm trying, give me some examples. Like there's no, for example, there's no one centralized application submission medium. You have to learn each carrier. There's no way around that. It would be nice, and it probably will come eventually, but right now there is a kind of organized chaos when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Like if this is what I'm hearing, which may not be, the variety of information, delivery tool, and then software applications. So like, what are you thinking there? You know, so I just would need a little more clarifying. Like, what does that mean? And I'll try to address it. But some of this is, you're right. I mean, it's piecemeal, you know. Occasional in-person events would be cool. Yep. Better office communication. Everything else is excellent. I think we addressed that well. If not, I can do it. All right. It's a long one. Who wrote this? There is so much information to convey when training someone how to run a business, which also includes learning what is basically a trade skill. With a grain of salt, take this with a grain of salt, but I think the website and all the info on it could be much more intuitively organized. There are certain things I seem to never be able to find, like the link to do a coaching call. Yeah. And there are other things I never knew even existed, but are really important, like the big list of all the carriers we can contract with and what our level should be at your agency. That's some of the improvements that came in the last 6 to 12 months, but your criticism's spot on. I thought we just had to memorize it or something till it had already been in that at 6 months. Part of me wants to say that this is just the nature of a site trying to convey so much info. Yeah. I have definitely noticed all our smaller realms. Yeah. It's organized chaos. Like this thing right here. Here's the problem. I attempted to try to simplify this, but you can see already in this menu. Again, maybe it's because I'm not a geek on the WordPress theme side of things, but there's like 15 menu links, and some of them have drop downs like additional resources. Well, they don't have now. So it's like I could put more in there, and then it's just even more. It's just like one giant. So like, you're right. I don't know how to sometimes organize this stuff. I think we've made it better because now there used to be like 5 million drop down boxes. There's none really. I guess there's none at all. You know, like you go here to the final expense face-to-face training and everything is on it. If you're doing telesales, everything's on that page. You don't have to go between 5 different pages, right? So I get it. I get what you're saying. And, you know, I'm definitely open to getting that better because there is a lot to know and a lot to study. And effectively organizing it is I have discovered way more important than I originally gave credence to. You got to organize and be clear in communications. Kind of comes back to that, right? It seems like you have a value for simplicity and leveraging the simplest things. In conversation and training, you're doing an excellent job. Thank you. Just can't say the same for your website and information organization. One thing I've noticed in life that there are people who can simplify and clarify in conversation or sales or a lecture, but doing visually is almost a different skill set. Yeah. No, I think it's pretty simple. I think it's simplified. It's more simplified than it used to be. But can it be even more simplified and more easy to organize? Yeah, no doubt. I just don't. This is an ignorance thing for me. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do better. Let me write that down. Examples of and if you guys got any examples of learning protocol online that's very simple and easy to absorb, that's explaining a lot of information, that would be helpful. If you guys have worked with NAA or SFG, I mean, they probably know how to organize that stuff better than I do, because they handle way more agents than I do. I don't know if they know how to train it better, but they probably have better organizational skills, I think. If you got examples of what that looks like, let me know. Just writing this down. Call the carriers, Jess, to absolutely confirm what you have. You can email me a reminder. We'll tell you what we submitted it at. But the absolute most best way to confirm what you're getting paid is to call the carriers directly and have someone in contract and confirm. Okay. And have them email you the commission grid. That, again, everything else is an estimated, is a guess. It's a pretty accurate guess if you have me contact Kara to send it to you. But it's to be absolutely sure you got and you all should be doing this anyway. When you get a commission raise from me because you hit your production goals, or after you're confirmed, you should check to make sure. Absolutely. Because things happen mistakenly. And this is worth the added effort. I think you should encourage new agents to explore the website as much as possible. I explored and found lots of stuff that helped me. Yeah, I think part of that too, Jordan, is I really, like, now we do the new agent orientation call. I do that every single week. So I think a lot of that's mitigated. Whereas I think Jeff, maybe it's you, Jeffrey. So I think you were saying this earlier, like you found out about something. The other people who started earlier this year, possibly last year, maybe did not have the same clarity as to what we have. So I think the newer people, now if you're new and you're confused and you've been through this, let me know. But the newer people should probably have a little better perspective here, because I spend a lot of time going through it a little bit more clearly. At least I hope I do. Okay. Let's keep going here. No, not condescending at all. Absolutely not. I noticed about half the questions I have for you in email or meetings are things that, if we're better organized and obvious, you wouldn't have to waste time answering. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's part of the deal, right? You know, you have to teach people your processes and how to find things. And part of that's my fault, right? Because if it's not entirely clear, you know, I'm glad you're at least asking, right? That means you're proactively trying to get help. But other than that, yeah, it's okay. All of you need to be asking me when it's not clear. Because what happens with me is I interact with so many people. When I hear multiple complaints that something's not clear, then I can say, oh, well, this is something I'm not doing right. It's not just some random thing. And I can go and put a video together, or, you know, re-edit some onboarding process to better. And I've done that recently with a lot of things. Like, for example, Jordan's comment, it'd be helpful to have a commission grid for new agents with all the carriers' commission rates. So if you go to davidduford.com, Jordan, we do this now, and not when you joined originally. This is something I added last couple of months. If you go to the contracting page, so like what happens now, what happens now is there's a section on that page that says, if you're a new agent, here's your commission levels. If you're an experienced agent, here's commission levels. Click this link to my Google Drive, and you'll find all the carriers' commission grids with first-year commissions and renewals. So yeah, that wasn't there 6 months ago. Yeah, you have. So some of you who are newer already seen all this. Some of you who are older never saw this, because this is more or less a newer development. But you're 100% right. I think you're good about repeating 20% that makes the most difference and leaving the rest to coaching calls. As a new guy, it behooved me to pay close attention to every single thing. Yeah, you know, yeah. So this is, yeah. You have limited focus, and I try to beat in the idea of the Pareto principle. What matters most? And you can kind of get this sense from some of the conversations we've had on this call so far, that being successful in doing business is a messy thing. You are not going to know everything as you improve and get better. It is not going to be organized, and it is not going to be streamlined. It's going to be messy. You're going to have to attend to the most important things first, and the little details get messy. And that's how learning and getting a business up and running is too. And so, like,
you said it earlier, it's chaotic.
Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
You said it earlier. It really is chaotic.
It is. It's supposed to be. If it's all predictable and you do it in your sleep, you're either an old pro and it's all old hat, or you're not really doing anything. Like, it should be stressful. It should be chaotic. That means you're doing it right. Okay. So like, and this is just kind of a critique to this question. Sure, it would make more sense as a new guy to pay more attention to every single thing, but you're a human being. You have to pay attention to the most important thing. And what's the most important thing you guys should be doing? Seeing the people. You should be seeing prospects. You should be calling them on the phone and closing business. And you should know the application somewhat, know the carrier somewhat, and know the sales process pretty well. And then you screw up, and then you course correct. And you do this course correction screw up process back and forth, hundreds and hundreds of times. And then years later, it's all on auto drive. But it didn't get there until you put in the effort and the mistakes and the applied learning, or you take the learning and applied it. So it does make sense that you should pay attention to every word that I say, but you won't, not because you don't want to listen to me, but because this is a new venture with a lot of variables, a lot of emotion, a lot of uncertainty, and our capacity as people is to learn from mistakes. And that is completely, I'm laughing at Jeffrey's comment, completely okay. It is completely okay to screw up. It's not okay to make the same mistakes twice. Learn from your mistake and never, ever repeat it again. If you can just do that, your learning curve will go a lot faster. Okay. But that's why that's why I'm not so concerned that you miss some of this stuff. Because it's unnatural that you get everything the first time. You would be a freak, a savant, a truly gifted person to absorb what I say the first time without question or consideration or having to be reinforced. That's why we do the training calls, right? To beat this stuff into your head, the big picture stuff, to pick up on the little details. Again, your focus is very limited, right? I've gone back and looked back at the list of, honestly, I didn't think that existed when it was conference call and you called it. Honestly, I don't think the list existed when I started. It was just a conference call. Yeah, absolutely. I've gone back and looked at the list a few times since starting and realized it was something really important that I underemphasized while initially training. To me, it seems like being consistently redirected to emails, answers, training, phone calls to check the list would be very helpful. Yeah. That's kind of the thing I've always been. It's like, I don't require you to be on the call. I hope that you will, especially as a new agent, and not to completely check out. You should kind of sort of at times attend some kind of training with me, even if it's just one call a week, just to make sure your head's in the game about sharpening the saw and getting it better. And maybe and that is something I need to kind of remind everybody as a standard, right? You know, you should not stop training. You should continuously train. And by doing some kind of continuous training, you're going to get better. And then those little details will kind of be addressed and you not even have to think about it, you know, because it'll come out automatically. Yeah. Sharing YouTube content. Yeah, no, you're right. Like the Universal Life one. Yeah. Thank you for the cheat sheet. Somebody's calling me outdated. Suggest a little less reference when I was back in the field. Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's a consequence of me being honest or transparent. When I'm in the field, well, that'd be a lie because I'm not. You're
getting old, David.
I know. That's what they're trying to tell me here. It's the most insulting. This is not constructive. This is very deconstructive. Outdated. Better get used to it, right? All right. But yeah, hey, here's why I say that. Back when I was in the field, you know how different people are today than they were 10 years ago? Look how different they are. Can you see the space between my fingers? That's how different. They're not different at all. They're the same. They're always the same. People are always the same. Human behavior has been the exact same throughout our existence. Okay? It's not changing. All sales is a human behavior influence attempt. Okay? Right? It's an art and it's a science, but people are people. Okay? That's why I say that with confidence that I don't sound outdated, hopefully to most of you, because it's the same people you're dealing with today that I dealt with 5 years ago full time. And yeah. So, that's why I say that, because it doesn't, maybe it sounds different than what I think it is, but people have always been the same when it comes to this business. So good to hear that I'm not crazy feeling like holding on by a thread. Yeah. Climb the wall of worry in life. That's what it is. I'm not going to learn it all in 3 months. Yeah, you definitely won't. You got to be good enough, right? That's a good principle in life to follow. Start off by being good enough. Worry about being great over many years. That's one thing I love about GTL. Perfect for new agents who don't know how to underwrite. Okay, disagree about putting someone to your weight. Jordan, is that a good to go? Any problems with writing GTL as a lead product? No, you don't want to do that. You want to do it when you don't have any other options and you don't want a guaranteed issue product. Lead with healthy carrier. Yep. Default to unhealthy carriers. Yeah, don't do that. Default to it if that's the only option. Right? Of course, get them level if possible. As you are hiring nationwide, does it make sense to have 11 a.m. daily scheduled Zoom meetings? Yeah, well, okay. I'm not going to do that Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do that, Mondays. I probably will eventually add some on maybe Wednesday, but I'm going to build out more training, I think, Thursdays and Fridays. I think we'll get to today. I think we'll discuss. I've been halfway through this last question, and then we'll talk about the second half of this, which will be abbreviated. Okay. Provide a dollar credit based on issued policies volume to be used towards purchasing leads from authorized vendors. So I don't do this because your commission level is designed to be maximally given. And again, what I would ask you to think about is your commission level should reflect the value added of what you're getting. For example, if you're on a 50% commission at Senior Life Services and they provide you free leads, well, okay, you get what you pay for, and you're paying for free leads through a reduced commission. When you work with me, you're running a business. You've got to be in a position where, you're responsible for the revenue and the expense side of the business. Now, beyond negotiating discounts, which has been brought up, I think is smart, the opportunity cost to having a higher commission rate than a lot of places that don't require to recruit is that you're responsible for the entire burden of the expense, the cost of doing business. So it's a trade-off. Now, of course, I think that if you're good at this business, the trade-off is going to result in you having a lot more money, but it is something that you won't get help from me. And the other thing too, again, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. I'm not good at bean counting and watching leads and a percentage of production. I don't do that. So I just don't even bother. Yeah, Fridays, a lot of organizations do Friday meetings and we're not doing them and we're going to be doing them. Complete computer setup of which screens or pieces of paper to have open when calling a lead. Check out the telesales section. I do have a training on kind of sort of what to have available, but you should have the carriers in a bookmark section on your web pages. You should have Best Plan Pro up if you use that. Certainly the cheat sheet, that kind of stuff. Print knowledge check quizzes. Maybe. I think what would be better is putting you on the spot by like doing mock presentations or attending those or asking you to engage, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Insights from agents struggling with personal finances or lack thereof. How-tos about initial business investments. Talk to me. I've been there. I mean, I started this business on a I've been talking about this personally on all over the place. I started with $4,000 Discover line, credit card, last credit card I had. There is an intermediate to advanced topic about how to keep the money you make. Our first goal is to help you make money, but there's a more pressing, longer term problem of keeping the money you make. And there's endless supplies of really productive agents that have no control personally over their financials. And I can think of multiple examples of really good agents that burned out because they didn't know how to handle their money. They forgot the tax man's coming for them quarterly. You got to pay the tax man. That's the big thing. And then making sure that you build a bankroll. These are things I could talk about on an intermediate level, but those are really important. One thing I heard an old business owner say recently is that as sales guys are always all about the money, whereas an entrepreneur is more interested in enjoy building a system and watching it work. It seems like in order to enjoy this, you have to cultivate an appreciation system you're building rather than just money. Yeah. It's like me. It's not about the money anymore. I just like doing this stuff. It isn't, but it is about the money. I mean, it is kind of, sort of, I mean, like anybody who says they're just doing it because it's fun is a liar. I mean, it's nice to have money. It's nice not being poor, dealing with that. So yeah, I mean, it's not pro bono charity work. Yeah. Freedom and lifestyle to it. Prosperity and AMM are great first choice carriers. You usually lead with Prosperity, loose underwriting, low prices, and they pay full comp. Yeah. The need for leads. Frankly, I wish I knew what would be better to light a fire in my butt. If I did, I would be working on it. Yeah, that's a you problem, right? I mean, I can show you the way like the old Sherpa, but you got to climb that mountain. A better quote tool. I think ours is pretty good. Don't use Best Plan Pros. I like the one that we have on the webpage. Again, that is here under the quoter. Focus more on developing telesales. I agree. We'll be doing more of that. Would like to see training videos of just you. Yeah, the role playing without the distraction. So let me show you something else here, if I can find it. I've got another training where, okay, here it is. I've got this old, when I actually had hair, training I did. That's a big mock presentation, and I've got the full presentation, and I break it down and do a little analysis. If that's kind of what you're thinking, I can cue that back in. Yeah, I know. Right. So I can add that back in if you're looking for more of like, what is it? And this isn't real, but the dad jeans. So I'll put that back in under the training. Put back mock presentations. All right. No, I'm more like Tom Brady. All right. All right, enough about me. Okay. I get role playing, but with distractions of others. I'd like to get more training on FE and using drop down menus. Yeah, I think we'll throw that in there, and it should be a little bit better. A greater distinction between face-to-face and telesales, although they have the same core goals in terms of qualification. Face-to-face and engage reactions. Yeah, just better training on telesales or more of it. I agree. We'll be doing that. Building friendly relationship with your agents, not just social media or sending tons of emails, calling them, listening to them, reaching out to them, and communication to success your organization. Totally agree. And that's something hopefully we'll work on soon. Okay. Anybody got any more thoughts on reviewing me? And again, we went an hour and 50 minutes. We didn't get to the second part yet. I'm going to keep going here. If you guys got a jet, I get it. I'm not asking you to stick around for hours on end. But this next section we're about to start, I appreciate everybody's help here. I hope I address some of these concerns. It's again, I appreciate the feedback. Really appreciate your time being on the call and looking at the stuff and helping me get better. Because hopefully me getting better means I'll do a better job for you. Okay,